when I fall, you've tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down with an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings. But now I shine with your reflection on me. I'm getting back up on my feet. That you showed up was written in my palm. You are a statement, explode like a bomb. I get to push myself to victory. You make me winner. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win in every way. You showed me how to spread my wings. Yes,
Hello, beautiful people from all over the world. How are we today? Welcome back. It is day 3 of the fantastically presented by Ingrid Jensen, Your True Self. And today it's about trusting your voice, I have really enjoyed everything that Ingrid has shared in the last few days. I'm no stranger to this material, but it is absolutely life-changing, and I always hear something different every time I hear Ingrid come on and teach. And today is, but they're all important days, but trusting your voice. Tap into what that actually means for you, trusting your voice. And I think it's just more often than not, we get this sort of like intuitive hit, and we don't even know it's that intuition talking to us. It doesn't speak in words, but there is this inner knowing inside you, knowing whether something is right for you or not. So today's topic is really about tapping into your intuition to make a decision. And decision making is a skill. It's a skill. As you're coming on, say hello to us. We always love to see friendly hellos, and where in the part of the world you're in. And then what you want to be doing as usual is bringing your pen and paper and getting ready to really take in what Ingrid is sharing. The change comes when you get a realization or an aha. Take notes on that. When something comes out at you and Ingrid is sharing something and it strikes home at you as being, I think that message was for me, because that's the part you need to have heard. And we're all about closing gaps. You all are here to have a transformation, to create change in your business, change in your lives. And that requires you going inward. So take note. Hello, you Facebook user from Pakistan. And so that was my other point. So as you're coming in from Facebook, we're streaming in from StreamYard. So what you want to do is click the StreamYard link so that we can see who's commenting. So have a look so we can see your names and then talk back to you. And so that's just another admin point. And then, just basically lean in, get ready. So I'm just going to welcome Ingrid. Ingrid, are you ready?
I am ready. Oh my God. Thank you so much, Susan, for the wonderful introduction. Hello, everyone. I see Mary from LinkedIn. Hello from Baltimore, USA. That is so cool. I see a Facebook user from Jacksonville. So cool. And Marcia, I hope I said your name correctly, from New York. This is so awesome. Thank you guys for coming on. So I want to welcome you guys to day 3. And this is the most wonderful time of the week. It's decision-making day for you and your goal. And this is a huge component to your success. So we have gone through 2 days prior to this of amazing discovery. We discovered our desire, because to have a goal, you need to have a desire, because you will struggle to achieve it if you don't truly desire it. And the next thing we went through is understanding our beliefs and how they impact our habits. Our habits are all backed by a belief that we just attain to. We're good at something, we're poor at something. We're meant for success, we're not meant for success. Every habit that you have, that you formed, is backed by a belief. And then we talked about you yesterday. We talked about who you are. Who do you see yourself as? Who do you need to become? We really went into it. Who is this new person that you're seeing? And now we are on day 3, which is decision making. I can't say that I was good in some areas at making decisions, and then in other areas I wasn't. But I realize now the power of making decisions, and it's in huge in being able to manifest. Did you hear that? Decision making is huge in being able to manifest. I really want you to think about it, because if you want to manifest something, it means that you have faith in where you're going. You don't know how it's going to happen. You don't know when it's going to happen. But what have I taught you is that there's a shift in vibrational energy that happens in your body. That's basically what it boils down to. And because of that, you start acting and behaving differently. You start seeing yourself also differently. And because of those things, circumstances start to change around you. You start attracting on a different level. But also belief and decision have to do with that. Because when you make a decision to go for something, you're doing it out of faith. And this is what we're going to talk about today. So, decision making is what the 1% of the world's wealthy population have down. They know how to make a decision based off where they want to go rather than circumstances. And what I'm going to tell you is that 99% of the population is basing their decisions of circumstances. So they continually stay stuck. The biggest mental move you can make in your life is to become a decision maker. How many of you would say you were confused and lost and maybe even stuck before you came into this week? You were like, you heard a lot. And there's this overwhelming feeling of feeling stuck and not knowing. But what you have to learn is making that mental decision to move. So my biggest breakthrough for me was when I made a decision for myself that I was going to become a coach. I didn't know how it would all work out. I had absolutely no idea if I was going to be able to afford a certification to become a certified coach with the Proctor Gallagher Institute. It's a huge investment. And so I had to make a huge investment in myself. And it wasn't until I said, I don't know how this is going to happen, but I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I felt it inside. And here is the one thing about desire. I can't give you a desire. Desire comes from you. It comes from within your soul, and it's directing you. So if you feel that from within with any given thing, that's the urge that you should be following. But we mess it all up with our overthinking. And so when I made that decision, I'm going to do this, what happened? What do you think happened? Everything fell in place after I made that mental decision that I wasn't going back, that I was all in. And this was what I wanted to do. This is what I was going for. So where are you sitting right now? where you have to make a mental decision, because decision eliminates conflict in our mind. When we can't make a decision, we are confused. We feel that confusion. And when you make a decision, it eliminates the confusion. It brings our thoughts into order, which also vibrates along the same line as our belief. So if you want something, if you have a goal and a desire, but you can't make that decision to move towards it, do you think it's going to come back? No. And so we need to learn the skill to move forward. So when you are stuck in this disorder of vibration, we know where we want to go. We have the inability to make a decision. It's called ambivalence. It's a coexisting feeling, a negative and a positive. How many of you felt this? Where you're just like, I don't know. I don't know. You know in your gut what you should be doing, but your head is telling you all the logical reasons why. It's this coexisting feeling of negative and positive vibration, and it feels yucky. It does feel yucky. It's part of the process. It's part of going through to the next level, fear. So indecision creates indecision in our body. And what is indecision? Indecision is disintegration, lack of self-confidence. How would you describe somebody who are unable to make a decision? You wouldn't describe them as very confident. You would describe them with low self-esteem. They don't trust themselves. And people who do have confidence, who do have high self-esteem, we often go to them to have them make decisions for us based of their paradigms, based of their logic, based of their thinking. How is that helping you? You don't trust yourself. You trust somebody else's mind. But they have their own set of paradigms. They have their own set of fears and limitation. And that is the hard truth, is that we don't trust ourselves. Even though the answers are coming up within us, they're springing up within us. And we ask for the answers and they're springing up within us. And yet we still go searching somewhere else. And we ask somebody else based of their paradigms, based of their experience, what we should do. Most of our decisions are coming from our circumstances. I call it also the report card syndrome. So we look at what's going on. We evaluate what's going on to make our decision. We say, well, based of my income, based of my current position, I'll do it when the kids go to school. We make decisions based of our resources and our circumstances. And a lot of time we go, oh, I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to do it when the kids are off to school. When I have more time, that's when I'm going to do it. Now, when I get a bit more healthier and fitter, when I finally lose that 10 pounds, when I increase my income, that's when I'm going to do it. Excuses. Absolutely. It keeps us back in that indecision. We don't have to move forward, but that's why we keep staying stuck, because we're basing our decisions of our circumstances. And what have I told you this week? And what have I helped teach you? And what I will go into further in a VIP Zoom that I've set up for tomorrow called Faith Over Fear, is we need to stop looking at circumstances to create what we want. When we're in a flow, people say, I'm in. Everything is just happening. There's this belief, this higher level of vibration. It feels really good. It feels really easy. Everything is just coming to you. You know what's happening? It's all working out. So we want the provision first. We want it all to work out our way before we make the decision. But that's not how it happens. We don't ask fire to appear before we go and get wood. You have to first decide, hey, I need a fire. And guys, drop me a fire emoji down below or write fire. You have to decide you're going to light this fire. You have to decide it. It's time to change, that you're going to do things differently. And so once you decide fire, you start making steps to prepare a fire. Oh, I'm going to have a fire. Fire, Facebook user. Fire, Marcio. It probably takes time to find the fire emoji. I love it. Fire, Mary. Love it. So, oh, well, I'm going to have a fire. Fire, Elizabeth. Well, I need to get wood. You don't say, I want fire. You don't expect it that way. You have to first make the decision. You don't expect heat without getting the wood first, without making that decision. When Kennedy asked Dr. Warner von Brandt, and I'm pretty sure I'm saying that name correctly because my Dutch client, she said, you say it perfectly. So Dr. Warner von Brandt said, and he was the father of the space program. And when Kennedy asked him what it would take to build a rocket ship to go to the moon, he said, listen to this. He said, the will to do it. He didn't say the skill or the engineering. He said the will. The will, the decision to do it. Once you decide, that's when things starts to show up. Once you decide, I'm no longer going to live this way, that's when it's going to change. Have you ever heard somebody who's just is so stuck in so much indecision, and you say to them, it doesn't matter, just make a decision? Why? Because you know, once they make a decision, they will feel better. Like I mentioned, indecision is actually disintegration. And the universe is based off create or disintegrate. If something is not growing, what is it doing? It's dying. And this is the feeling of being stuck, of not being able to move forward, of not being able to make those decisions, of seeing the repeat happening over and over again. But yet, we still continue to make decisions the same way, operate the same way, get torn up the same way about our inability to make decisions. And then when we make decisions, we're like, oh no. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But once you make a decision, you should feel better. And have you ever heard this one before? Stay or quit. Love them or leave them. Buy it. No, don't buy it. You have to make a decision. Your goal is accomplished the second you make a decision. The universe does not like indecision. When you stay in indecision, you're actually pushing away from the things that you want, from the freedom you seek, from the financial you seek, from whatever it may be. When you stay stuck in indecision, you are pushing away from it. Now, when you make the decision, I'm doing this, it's just a matter of time. You put into effect the law of cause and effect and the law of gestation, which means it's just a matter of time before it comes. All you have to do is stay the course. This is why we have 2020 vision when we look backwards. How many of you can see how you wanted something and then you went towards it? And looking back, you can say, oh, I can see how it all played out perfectly. But it's not until you make that decision to move forward. 2020 going ahead does not exist. Fire before wood does not exist. We want to have 2020 going forward. We want to be able to see how circumstantially it's going to play out for us. But we need to stop making decisions based off that. Decision makers are confident. They have a high degree of self-esteem. They know what direction they're going for. They are not afraid of making errors. Errors are about growth. It's about learning. Okay, so we're going to pivot. We're not going to flip-flop and say, okay, well, I did that and that didn't work. I'm going to change companies or I'm going to quit. I'm tired. I reached out to a couple of people once or twice. They said no. So I'm just going to move direction. How many of you have done that? Jumped a ship 1,000,000 times because a little bit of resistance came towards your growth. You submitted to the failure. You think, I failed. A committed decision means you're moving towards it. Errors are about growth. This is so important. Errors are about growth. You cannot avoid them, but you have to make the decision. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to watch how it unfolds. I'm going to be persistent towards it. So do you want to know the most important rule to making a decision? Type yes in the comment if you are ready to learn what it is. I want to see I'm ready to make a decision and how to have things manifest for me. Type yes in the comment if you're ready. You need to decide. Yes, Facebook user. You need to decide. Yes, Leanne. Yeah, you need to decide. Are you ready? This is it. You need to decide from right where you are with whatever you have. Not what your circumstances tell you. Let me repeat that. I love it. I see so many yeses. You're so ready. So I will repeat it. You need to decide right now from where you are with what you have. Yes, I'm doing this. So what does your heart tell you? Yes, I'm doing that. Not what your paradigm tells you, not what your fear tells you. Remember, fears are keeping you from the good that you deserve and desire. Your fears are keeping you imprisoned where you are. Your logic is in harmony with your paradigm. So if your paradigm is based off, well, I just don't know, how it's going to happen, then think about that. Think about how your paradigm has held you where it is and how your logical thinking always resonate with it. This is key. And I have had incredible conversations with people about starting this program. And some are in survival mood, where we look at our circumstances and we react to it. Because that's what our conscious mind does. That's what the 4% of your result does. Because 96 to 98% of the results are your paradigm. But that 4% up there, that logical mind, is looking out at all the circumstances and it's saying, well, the bank account, I don't have the education. That's never going to happen for me. I am not worthy of love. It's giving you all this stuff. It's never happened before, so why should it happen now? Who do you think you are? And it's feeding you all this information. And we make decisions based on that information. But what have we learned? Thoughts become things. So if all you're thinking about is what you're being fed by your five senses, which are just reporting, then you're going to stay in that circle. But if we start listening to that intuitive voice inside of us, if we start envisioning what we want, and we start setting that desire and going forward based on what it is we want to achieve, not what our current circumstances tells us. That's how we start achieving success. That's how we start manifesting, operating at a different vibrational level, seeing those things come into frustration. Listen to your heart, not your paradigm. And your memory is one of your 6 faculties you have in your mind. And what it's going to do is that it will pull up all the report cards. It's going to be like, well, do you remember when? And if it's in harmony with your paradigm, that's very doubtful. It's going to pull up all the doubt for you. It's going to show you all the reasons why, because it's in harmony with your paradigm, which is doubtful. It's operating at its current way of operating. But what we need to do is learn how to use our memory to say, remember that time when I was successful. Yes, I can do this. I can. It's just about shifting your mental faculties. And this is what I teach you how to do. So once you decide based on where you are with whatever you have, I'm doing this. I don't know how this is going to happen. You have to first make the mental decision. You have to commit to it mentally. I'm doing this. No buts, none of it. Once you decide, the resources show up. The people show up. The ideas show up. Things just fall into place. It's the domino effect. Once you decide, then the path is made clear. But if you don't decide, it will never be shown to you. It's only when you decide that the manifestation of those things you need for it to happen will show up automatically. You have control over every decision you make, but you let fear and your paradigm control what you want. So many people I know have entered into thinking into results. And they entered into this program. And I always get messages from them like, I don't know why, but all of a sudden, boom, things starts happening. They start manifesting things that they want. Why? Because they made a committed decision. They wanted personal growth. They move towards it and boom, they start getting the law of cause and effect back. They start attracting back to them the resources, the people, the things to what? Help pay for the course, grow their desire, and they go towards their goal and things starts happening. The reason why you're not seeing that is because you're not making the committed decision to where you want to go. And you're letting fear and your paradigm control you. You let circumstances control you. Where's the money going to come from? When am I going to find the time? How am I going to do this? My husband or my wife, they're going to say no. We let circumstances control us. Imagine if you became a decision maker and didn't let circumstances control you. Can you imagine what that would be like? What your life would look like if you felt free to go for the things you always, always desired and had them start happening for you? When you make a decision to choose yourself, to choose changing your thinking pattern, to choose being unstuck, to say, enough of this. So, what do you need to happen in your life? And how far stuck do you have to stay before you make the committed decision that your mind and your results are where you need to be going? So when you decide, the resources will show up after you decide. I know that's a scary thought, but that's why we don't get ahead. Because we've been pre-programmed to plan and save. And how often do we actually save those things? No, because our programming isn't to do that. You have to see the beautiful vision of what it is you want to do in life. A life you want to be living, not somebody else's life. And we're not programmed to do it that way. You need to become a decision maker now. And the instant you do it, you make the decision, you move forward. Things comes back to you. So guys, I want to thank you so much for showing up today. I have decided to do a VIP Zoom tomorrow called Fate Over Fear. And I'm going to dive deeper into what we've been talking about also this week. And this is also going to be an opportunity for you guys to ask me anything. It's going to be a bit hot seat coaching, and it's super, super fun. But before I leave you, and oh, by the way, it's going to be 5 p.m. UK time tomorrow. So the link is going to be dropped in the group hereafter. So I hope you sign up. But my last assignment for you guys is to read the decision article in the end of your workbook. I want you to read it 3 times, and then you can write done in the Facebook group. Because very often we just read things one time and we don't get the whole picture of what it is actually the article talks about. We get a little bit, but if we read it a bit more, maybe we will see something we didn't see before. So read the decision article 3 times. Sign up for Fate Over Fear tomorrow. It's VIP Zoom. So it's not going to be here on Facebook, just to let you know. So I'm going to let Susan on, and she's going to talk to you again about the overview and the homework. So I see you guys tomorrow, 5 p.m. UK time on Zoom. Have a wonderful day, and thank you.
I hope I'm not on mute. Hello, everybody. Well, thank you so much, Ingrid. I so appreciate everything that you're sharing. It's really, really powerful. about making a decision, because what does it mean? It means to cut off from all possibility, and immediately there is no way but to move forward. So if you are sitting on the fence thinking, oh, which way should I go? Make a decision one way or another. Make a decision one way or another, because being on the fence isn't any good. It's a waste of energy. Make a decision. But if you want to move forward, we have a VIP Zoom. I've just put the link on the screen there, and you can just copy and paste it. It'll be in the chat, and join in and have a private session with Ingrid. And then the homework, which is also very powerful, is you would have got in your workbooks an article on decision. It was written by Bob Proctor, and it made me realize, wow, this is really a skill. We were never taught how to make decisions at any point in our lives, because when we were growing up, our parents pretty much made the decisions for us. And then before we know it, we're grown-ups ourselves. And then we kind of like go, oh, should I do this? And we always ask somebody else, but we don't check in with our own intuition, with our own truest voice. So if this feels right for you, if this is resonating, I encourage you to join us on the VIP Zoom, and we will see you there tomorrow and see all your bright, beautiful faces. Thank you so much for joining, and hope to see you tomorrow. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.